Man, coming to you from parts unknown. Well, we had some rowdy weather, and I don't know. I hope everybody came out of it all right. So keep me informed, keep me posted. I got a picture on the screen here what people can check out while they're filing into the live stream. And I want to thank everybody who's watching tonight, and I want to thank everybody who watches after the broadcast. Just remember, you can review the chats after the actual live stream, and if you want to participate or watch the chats go by live, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell, and you'll know when I go live. So, anyway, folks, a lot of you may know who this person is. That's a before and after. And unfortunately, the before picture is on my left and the after picture's on my right. So I got a little video this person stars in that I played for you all before, but I get new subscribers, and sometimes people get curious and they tune in and want to see what's going on, and they may have never seen some of the videos that I play. So anyway, I see we got a lot of folks coming in, and everybody get through the weather okay, I hope. Hi, Alicia. Damon, how you doing? Nikki, Carol, Debbie, how are you? B-Dog, Ivana, nice to see you again. Diane, Island Girl, Gloria. So everybody's coming in. So let me see if I got this. We've got a lot to talk about, and I have been, I guess you could say, harping on the term that Mr. T put in one of his speeches that said illegal psychological warfare campaigns in the plural. So we're getting evidence of them. We're documenting modus operandi, methods and operations of how they conduct these illegal psychological warfare campaigns. And you see, hi, Gary, how you doing? Ha ha. Hi, Lucy. Marla. It's hot in Texas. Where my coffee, Marla? I usually put pictures of coffee for me. You think I didn't notice? Hi, Melinda. Oh, there's my coffee. It's farther up. I had to scroll up. Thank you. So, it's hot in Texas. Well, it is summertime, but you all didn't get hit with too bad of weather, I hope, because that was the concern. Let's see when Camperman comes in. He'll give us an update. And hi, Larry. How you doing? So anyway, this person that you see on the screen is in the news now for or the last couple of weeks for claiming there was some kind of Smollett-style hate crime, or even worse, the one that accused Kavanaugh of violating her when they were in, I don't know, preschool or whatever. But so this one here is saying, oh, I had somebody assault me, said they were gonna, whatever, abuse me. So this is the person that said, when they looked like the one on the left, they said, I was hearing voices and I was losing my mind, and I went to a therapist, and 2 days later, I started on hormone therapy and had a double mastectomy, and things have never been better. Hi, Christine. How you doing? So, let's see, B-Dog. Let's see what B-Dog was saying. Did you see the more on yeah, I sold State Secrets. I was going to take a screenshot of that on video, but I was running out of time because I wouldn't be up till 10 o'clock or something like that if I didn't get everything taken care of. But anyway, here we go. I'm waiting for people to get in so I can play a couple of quick videos showing the effects of and this person here may very well be a victim of a psychological campaign. What kind of therapists were they seeing to get them? Were they seeing therapists that led up to the state they were in, that they're hearing voices that tell them they're in the wrong body? Were they 12 years old when they started going, 13, 14 years old? I don't know. But you may very well be seeing a victim. But there is a coordinated method, and Mr. T brought it up in his speech, and I might record that whole speech and play it one night. And if I get in trouble, I get in trouble. They call it the speech that got Donald Trump elected. And if you remember, some of the things he said during that speech was, we're dealing with people that do not have your good in mind. But he also said that if you disagree with them, all the names that they'll call you, he listed them. And some of them, if I say, I could get in trouble. But misogynist, anyway, Riley Gaines will go down the list, because here we are 7 years later, and she's suffering through the same attacks and harassment. And it is tied back to what is turning out to be a state-sponsored religion. Whether they like it or not, Satanism is a religion. And there's billions of dollars getting pumped into promoting that through the school system, in the military, and everything else. But does the Satanic Church lose their 501(c)(3) status when they speak up? Oh, that's only Christian churches, Jewish churches. They don't want to mess with the mosques. But if they could, they would. But they know where their boundaries are to some degree. Now, I'm going to put this meme up. I'll get to the Satan's dictionary. One word in particular that's straight out of Satan's dictionary, and I'd like to find out the origins of it. Before I get into that, modus operandi, the methods of this illegal warfare campaigns, there's a meme that got put up, and it got a warning put on it on Truth Social, for crying out loud. And I said, gee, I want to put this meme on my show. So I said, well, let me block out what I think might be what the computer is seeing and picking up to cause them to censor it. And it may very well get me in trouble. I don't know. So I'll put it up right now. And next time I go on Bumble, I'll put one up that doesn't have the little red dots. You see it says here, let me get this straight. You want corrupt politicians to be tried via military tribunals for crimes against humanity? And the Joker with a you-know-what hat on says, I do. And I'm tired of pretending that I don't. So I think the symbols that were up there, where I've got red dots over them, I've got two symbols, flags or symbols with red dots on them. One of them is the NAZI flag, and the other is the symbol for the DNC, right? So I thought, well, let me just put red dots over that. But you all get the gist of the meme, correct? I just found it surprising that it got censored or flagged on Truth Social. But anyway, so here we go. How many people? Oh, good. Now, this person here, you will see, I played this clip before, but this person you see on the screen, you'll see them participating in this illegal psychological warfare operation or campaign in this clip right here. The volume might not be very good, but I believe this is the correct clip. But you see Elizabeth Warren, and she put out a really disgusting tweet that she's celebrating. If I got it in the studio, I'll pull it up, but I'll just go ahead and tell you. It's where she says, "Oh, this is wonderful." Now the affirming surgery, okay? The affirming surgery is now required to be given, and it's going to save a lot of young lives, and just disgusting. But anyway, here is the early form of the psychological operation in bloom when it first started.
Will die. Women are going to die, Gail. Women will die.
You are also not going to allow trans kids to play sports. Children lie.
We've seen that trans kids suffer from extremely high suicide rates.
But to hear a 10-year-old say that they would rather die than experience
more and more people are going to die from air pollution if changes are not made.
People are suffering and dying. People are dying.
These policies kill. People will die. People die. How many more people have to die to get some gun control?
Your mistake is killing the children in your state.
This decision and this policy will kill people. We are also going to see a lot of South Dakota women die because of this.
It's not an extreme statement to say that women will die.
I thought I was going to die.
People are dying because of misinformation.
How many more Americans have to die?
People are dying and will die who don't have to die. This is a death cult. Let's get on with the dying.
Yeah, that was when Beto O'Rourke was popular. So, they've been doing it for a long time. And if I get that tweet from her, what's her face, about this gender stuff. But anyway, Riley Gaines, we didn't talk about that very much with what was going on, all the other things that were going on. But when she was in front of the Senate, you listened to the theme, the coordinated theme of all these characters you just saw. And this was compiled years ago. So it has continued. It's not stopped. And it's, matter of fact, intensified. And it's been inculcated into women's sports, schools around the country. Listen to how she was treated. I call it harassment. Menacing harassment. Using the same terms. But let her testimony speak for itself. But they are insinuating themselves into every facet of her life, using the same kind of blame game, harassment, threats, and fear-mongering. But anyway, let her have her say.
Annually happening. And if we do speak up, you're immediately labeled as some name. They will call you everything under the sun, whether it's terrorists. They will throw them all at you in hopes to deter you, in hopes to silence you. To go to mandatory LGBTQ education meetings to learn about how just by being cisgender, they were oppressing Leah Thomas. They were told that they are not allowed to take a stance because their school has already taken their stance for them. They were told that you will never get a job. You will time if you speak out. They told these girls that if you do speak out and any harm whatsoever comes towards Thomas's way, whether that's through social media, whether that's physical, mental, emotional harm, then you are solely responsible, and you could be responsible for a potential death. And you don't want that, do you? Of course not. Who would ever want to be responsible in a potential death? But that is the emotional blackmail that is plaguing this country, especially in universities.
Last question, and I'll just...
That was a good term. I know the volume is not the best, but she called it emotional blackmail. If you, I could try to turn the volume up. I got some of these videos off of Rumble. They're not the best, but the volume has always been a problem with them, and I hope they straighten it out. But emotional blackmail, that is a good term that to use. And I'll tell you what I think is the most repugnant word in Satan's dictionary. The most damaging and repugnant word. I'm jumping now. Jumping from this method of operations for these illegal warfare campaigns to Satan's dictionary. There's one word in there that is the most repugnant and is given people a false sense of comfort to do a horrific act in the eyes of humanity. And I wonder if anybody will guess what that word is. I'll get to it later on in the broadcast. Let me see. Hi, Larry. How you doing? Jersey Joe, how you doing? 13 BLT. Joy, how are you? Outlandish Patriot. Hey, Tennessee. How you doing, Rick? So, we got a lot of folks coming. That's good. So I'll just check to see if anybody pre-guesses the word that I think is the most repugnant, disgusting word that has led to a lot of human suffering, mental anguish, delayed, and I say spiritual anguish that a lot of people won't experience until it's too late unless they repent. And I don't want to sound too much of a Bible thumper, but it's the truth. I mean, you will deal with your spirit. You will deal with your spirit when it's all over with. So let me see if I put this up. People are saying this was from I think Citizens Free Press. Let me see. Yeah, Citizens Free Press. They say Christ was forced on black people, huh? Ethiopian Bible written nearly 1,000 years before slavery. You do the math. Let me get that down where you can get a good shot of it. People trying to discount Christ and try to trick people, black people from accepting Christ. Yeah, well, it ain't gonna work. So let me see. Here we got Andy No. I remember this incident. He reported this. A couple of days ago. But I remember the incident that had happened. Blake David Hamp, a P3DO Portland Antifa member with a child crime conviction, gets no prison time in a sweetheart deal after pleading guilty to stabbing a black conservative during the 2020 BLM Antifa riots. Right here he is. No jail time. And there he is in the background with a dog mask on. And that's what he's got on his profile picture. But the sheriff's department mugshots overlaid on his who uses the Lord's name in vain? Oh no, in the dictionary, no. It's a word I'd like to find the origins out, but I will get to it. There's a lot of words they're using that is the product of corrupt minds that want to deceive people and minimize their actions in their own minds if they don't pay attention to their heart and listen to these corrupt words that Satan has created. So anyway, here's a picture of him in action during the 2020 riots. And this right here is the victim, the person that that he stabbed and is not going to jail for what he's done. And right there, they got a picture up top that shows him actually with the knife in his hand. And he just walked up and stabbed him. So no jail time, no worries. Here's the last picture I got of this particular one. Here he is. Everyday anti-fascist. This is him right here. So if you ever see him on the street, and he's got all the telltale signs. Oh, you know what else I heard? You know, I put up that picture of the CCP flag on that boat. I put up a picture of the multi-colored hair auntie of the boy that went down with the sub. I talked about the CEO putting out woke concepts. Well, guess what I found out today? The company has on the books, is what I heard will be reported. We shall see that they had a loan for $500,000 from the CCP. Okay? So that's another thing that ties it in. So you can tell them by looking at them what they got going on in their own lives. They can't hide it. It'll come out sooner or later. Here you go. And they can't leave other people alone. Screenshot of it, put it in your quiver. Share it on Facebook if they don't throw you out. So, Satan's smoke. Here we go. We've talked about this with the Vatican. That Dodgers protest was organized by some bishops, and then it turned into an organic march on the stadium after the prayer. After everybody had a prayer in, a pray in instead of a sit in. Vatican investigates Texas Bishop Joseph Strickland after leading prayer march outside LA Dodgers Stadium. Social media posts. Okay. So Bishop Strickland said, I often say we need to be first century Christians in the 21st century. So apparently him organizing that prayer march has incurred the ire of the Vatican. We'll see how that turns out. But anyway, let me play this video for you. Let me see. Where's that little video? I want to see what you all think of it. I think this is it right here. The volume may be low, so you got to, if you got earbuds, that's good. If not, you got to hold the phone a little bit closer. But see what you think of this.
Fetus. Having a fetus. We're having a fetus. And here we are.
Would you look at that?
Hi, fetus.
Hey, got names yet? For the fetus? We've got a few we like.
Focus on the family. Would like to remind you that no matter where you are on your pregnancy journey,
Almost here.
call it what you want. But the truth does not change.
You want to feel the fetus kick? It's a baby.
It's still a baby.
That's the word, folks. That's the word that I think started in the 20th century that dehumanized babies. Dehumanized babies. And I got a screen grab of this. Of course, something like this won't be on UTizzle for long. Hopefully, I'll get away with it. But you can't get good audio off of Rumble or TikTok. There's something that stifles the recording. I can record YouTube videos and get excellent volume, but I can't with Rumble and TikTok. There's something rotten in Denmark, and I'm hoping Dan Bongino and Devin Nunes are wise to it. So anyway, but you could hear it, and yeah, outlandish. At least it ended good with a child. From the lips of a child, we get the truth. Telling the grown adults it's a baby. And so many people, especially young girls, have been duped into it's just a fetus. They don't use the word baby. They don't use the word human being. And I think one of the things we're going to have to do in this new republic, Agenda 47, is put a stronger definition of human life, and the Constitution applies to every human being. And they say, no, what's some of their slogans? No immigrants illegal or whatever, this and that. Well, as far as I'm concerned, no human being is a fetus. Okay, scratch that name. Scratch that term off the books from now on. Infant, baby, human being. That's it. So you look at some of the terms they use, how they are going after minute details and splitting hairs, especially when you see Rand Paul confronting Dr. Fauci about gain of function. I'm going to get a clip. I don't care if I've got to record over or whatever I got to do to get the volume up. And I don't know how long it will last on UTizzle. But what the existing laws are concerning doing research that causes any biological substance to become more harmful to humans or harmful to humans in the first place or make it more harmful, that has been outlawed. Outlawed for going on 100 years. And they switched their terms around just like they did, making the Western culture and the majority of people in the United States to look at a woman in a family way and him in their brains that's not a human being inside them, because they use the term fetus, and they even went farther to say a bag of cells. It's dehumanizing, it's evil, and it needs to be stricken from our lexicon. So anyway, now here we go. Babylon Bee. Biden offers some money to journalists to stop talking about his family's bribery. Let's see. What's wrong, Debbie? How you doing, Red? Hi, Phil. What election is suspended? Didn't you hear? Didn't you hear? You don't know what election is suspended? Let me see. I'll go ahead and jump ahead. Let me get it right here for you. Zelensky has stated that there won't be a presidential election in Ukraine before the end of the war. And this person, I can't write, it's blurry, but on Twitter, Visegrad says it's nothing unusual. Great Britain also suspended their elections during World War II. The election was originally scheduled to be held in the spring of 2024. So they're not going to hold an election till the end of the war. And all the lefties are saying, well, that's normal. They did it in Britain during World War II. What does that tell you all, folks? Could be in the cards for us. They're doing it in Ukraine, and the lefties are saying, well, the British did it. It's normal. But I tell you, here's a post Donald Trump put up, giving us, I think, a little heads up. General Keith Kellogg is a true patriot. Then there's a link to a Washington Examiner article where Keith Kellogg is referred to as kind of like a nominal advisor of Donald John Trump's. Well, we already know about Admiral Rogers. I think General Keith Kellogg is advising concerning the legal terminology I keep repeating, which is illegal psychological warfare campaigns. And we're doing an information dissemination operation to resist that campaign. But you can bet dollars to donuts as being very seriously considered one of many strategies to keep DJT out of the White House is to use war as an excuse. They're giving a green light to China to do something with Taiwan. I am all but convinced that they financed that Wagner move, and they got outsmarted. And you know who I'm talking about, the clowns in America. The clowns in America, they came up with $6.2 billion. I played that video last night. And next thing you know, I tell you what, if that sub had not sank, that move on Moscow would have happened sooner. But the sub sinking and national attention drawing away bought them time, and it just delayed that move by Wagner. The cat, how you doing? So, yeah, I wouldn't read too much into that sub sinking because, like I said, they borrowed $500,000 from communist China. They're communists themselves. Birds of a feather flock together. Here as a kind of a post-mortem, Jack Posobiec put up, wife and mother of Titanic sub-disaster victims revealed she was due to be on doomed vessel, but gave her place to a 19-year-old son and was not told about the implosion, so held out hope for 4 days. Christine Daywood had initially planned to go on the doomed voyage with her husband, but stepped back because of her 19-year-old son. And I heard today that the Coast Guard had boarded the mothership and seized all their communications, everything on the boat, that is voice recordings, tracking, all electronic information from the mothership. So we'll see what happens. But I had a picture of one of the people who turned down that ride. There's a number of people that were approached to go on a dive. One of them was another billionaire and son team that didn't go on this trip, and they were offered a $100,000 discount. And I've got a picture of them, of the father shaking hands with Joe Biden at the White House. So birds of a feather flock together. This guy was an arrogant person with communist ideals, thought he knew more than everybody else. You know how these eggheads operate. These egghead liberals. They think that they're to be in charge. And if the population needs to be reduced, drastically reduced, but they don't include themselves in that equation because they are superior, even though they're stupid enough to go 9,000 feet in a subpar vessel and disintegrate. So, yeah, he was trying to get people in his circle, namely people who had communist ideals, worked with the Biden regime. James Cameron knew of him, but did not even associate in those circles because he wasn't a bird of that feather. So anyway, here's a good meme for you from Psychological Rhythms. Anyone who has the power to make you believe absurdities has the power to make you commit atrocities. That's right. Gary's right. Putin has an 80% approval rating in Russia. And he told Wagner the time of day, and they turned around and left. That's exactly right. Well, I tell you, I showed that video last night. It's a very short video, if I've still got it in here, where one person in a vehicle, I believe, was they were firing at helicopters and airplanes with the Wagner group. And they got obliterated underneath a bypass. Do you all remember that? I liken that to having instigators just like we had on J, and the other half is 6. But Putin didn't play patty cake with the instigators. Once the instigators were people who dressed up in Trump outfits, people who wore masks over their irises of their eyes, and were let to run amok and do what they wanted. No. Any instigators in this bunch, this is what they got. So much for agent provocateurs. And that is the term generally used for people who were troublemakers on J6 and pretending that they were Trump supporters. They're called agent provocateurs. And I believe the people that were firing on the helicopters were agent provocateurs, because I believe the whole operation was to extract Wagner, which was under threat of nuclear strike. Okay. But the Ukrainians were going to blame it on Russia. They also were labeled a terrorist organization, and Prisgo, whatever his abbreviated name is, had a bounty on his head. So how do you extract all the good men, all the equipment, safe passage, and then loop around and outflank the city of Kiev? So that is one thing to think about. But anyway, it's a nice little meme for y'all. Legal U.S. gun owners have 300 million guns and probably 1 trillion rounds of ammo. Seriously, folks, if we were the problem, you'd know it. So that's a good one to have, to share with your friends. Now, there is some videos coming out that this Prigo guy is supposedly, there's been a warrant reissued for his arrest and this and that. Putin came out and gave a speech today Let me see. I've got these kind of broken up. Oh, here's one thing I've been meaning to put up. I'm going ahead. Go ahead and put it up now. It's a you know what post. When people were, when Mr. T was talking about finding out what's causing these childhood illnesses. I pulled this post up last week, but I never got to go over it. Okay? This investigation is just not going to go to the thing you put in your shoulder, all right? Here's the key. Chemicals pushed for home use. Cleaning, brackets cancer, brackets baby on floor, hands in mouth. The start. Vaccines, brackets not all. Tobacco, opioids, ultimate win, death plus money, the feds, Rothschilds, conspiracy. Okay, then call all that stuff to talk about as to childhood, the increase in childhood illnesses, which of course carry on into adulthood. It's going to go back to the 1960s, immediately post-Kennedy, starting with the Johnson administration, what they've done with our food, what they've done with our cleaning materials. Okay? Chemicals pushed for home use. So if you want to look this post up, all you got to do is just remember, for home use, type it in, you'll get this post, and you'll be able to go into it some more. Just don't go into it real deep and get yourself confused, because it's simple. It's meant to be simple for the people. Because, you can sucker people into doing anything if they're not grounded in a logical, realistic faith, okay? I got that picture and I was going to put it up for something, but hey, like I said, there were people wanting to go up the steps of the temple, wanting. And Cortez told them, we live under the same sun you do, and we don't do this stuff and our crops grow. But they wouldn't listen. Wouldn't listen to basic reason. Here's another meme for you. This is a math. S3, actuality or gender. Leftist teachers. That's right, Ian. Apocalypto. Watch the movie if you get a chance. And in today's day and age, you should be able to watch it really anytime you want. Here's a meme that put the sub business to bed. They borrowed money off the Chinese. They believed in communist ideology. But anyway, the Navy classified sonar system heard explode 4 days ago. So we're seeing that our government lies to us and they are corrupt. But meanwhile, here we got something brewing. Wall Street's biggest banks will bear the brunt of U.S. regulators' move to raise capital requirements for lenders, according to Jerome Powell. The largest lenders could face an increase of about 20% in what they have set aside, Powell told members of the Senate Banking Committee on Thursday. So in other words, they got to come up with some more cash, 20% more. And when you got a tremendous size bank and you're just barely hanging on with cash reserves at minimum requirements and they raise it another 20%, that's an extra $20 for every $100 bill. if you look at it that way. And how are they going to come up with the cash? They're trying to do a treasury debt, what do you call it? T-bills, trying to sell T-bills, treasury bills. And there's very little takers. China used to buy the T-bills up all the time, but they're not doing it now. So they got to come up with some reserve cash money quick from somewhere. So we'll see how that pans out. So anyway, they said they were going after Shiogu, who was the head honcho there with the military. And there are reports that he has resigned, that they reissued a arrest warrant for Prigo. I don't know what that story is, but I heard Shiogu is out in the field, and there are reports that he's fine. Then there's people reporting he's in trouble, so I don't know. But the march on Moscow, quote, the suppression of the rebellion in such a short time actually strengthened the authority of the Putin administration. The Russian president himself once again reaffirmed his commitment to Russia's interests in Ukraine, calling a special military operation his priority. So that's what China thinks of that. And hey, they're the ones moving into Cuba, and nobody's doing a thing about it. So yeah, we should pay attention to what they're saying. Now, what's this article here? Along with a good portion of the Wagner mercenaries, in Belarus, they plan to build camps to accommodate the fighters of PMC Wagner. They're only about 100 miles from the Ukrainian border, right above Kiev now. The publication confirmed the construction of a camp for 8,000 fighters. According to them, there will be several camps. And a lot of people don't know this, but Wagner has got troops deployed in, I believe, 14 countries. 14 countries. I know Mali is one of them. And a lot of times they're to suppress or defend from ISIS. So they're not just in Ukraine. Now they're in Belarus. But Wagner is a big mercenary group in multiple countries. So the quote is now from one of them: we're already working today. Tomorrow before lunch, the task is to build, said the source of the layout. He added the area of the camp will be 24,000 square meters. It will be designed for 8,000 beds. That's one camp. Another source of layout close to the leadership of the region confirmed that the authorities were instructed to build camps for PMCs in the region. So, yeah, I think it was a repositioning. But here, I believe, is what Putin was talking about when he's service of the president of Belarus canceled the speech of Lukashenko. So he was going to speak with Putin, but Putin just went to go on it himself. So today at 3:11 p.m., it was reported Putin thanked the Russians for endurance, solidarity, and patriotism, noted that any blackmail and turmoil are doomed to failure. The whole society is responsible for the fate of the fatherland. All necessary decisions were taken to neutralize the threat. An armed rebellion would have been suppressed in any case. And he went on to say the organizers of the rebellion understood that they had committed criminal acts, splitting a country that resists an external threat when our comrades die at the front. The organizers of the rebellion, the organizers, betrayed not only themselves and their people, but those who were drawn into the rebellion. So they're saying the ones who were drawn into the rebellion were betrayed by the organizers also. So he's given some people a pass. You got to look at the details. The devil's always in the details. So he's given some people a way out. And officers who stood in the way. We know of the vast majority of fighters and commanders are patriots. They were dragged into an adventure. The enemies of Russia wanted to choke the country in a bloody civil strife. They miscalculated. And then Putin offered Wagner fighters to sign a contract with the Ministry of Defense or return home or go to Belarus. And that's where most of them is going, Belarus. And they are flanking Kiev. So anyway, let's see. That's the second half. I just want to check the chats real quick. I will get to the first half of this. Here we go. This news here. Let me move this one over a little bit so I can see the chats. Enormous power grab. Germany, France want to end veto rights in the EU this year. This is big, folks. That's right, Tennessee. He's got money. He got about $6 billion more when they went around behind Wagner and took over their base and got all 4 billion rubles and a bunch of banknotes. So anyway, in what may be the beginning of the end for European nations, Germany and France are determined to reform national rights, including the European Union right of veto this year. The debate caused a stir in recent months and recent weeks. The agenda is back on the menu. France and Germany are convinced that a large-scale institutional reform of the European Union, including the abolition of the veto on European Council votes, could be achieved. They said, the France and Germany ministers said. The two ministers said that both countries considered it important to abolish unanimous voting in the European Council in areas such as foreign policy and taxation before they enlarge the European Union. This could mean, for example, that Brussels would be able to implement a flat tax across the European Union or even involve itself more deeply in the war. Both moves that Hungary has rejected and in some cases deployed its veto to stop. What they're doing is they're going to want to eradicate the veto so everybody that is a smaller country that has a veto now is out of luck. And Germany and France can pass all kinds of crazy stuff. I'll read the rest of this. Paris and Berlin claim abolishing the veto is a change that is possible without amending treaties. A point hotly contested by a number of European parties, as would not only give Brussels enormous power, but also its largest states, such as Germany and France. This would subsequently allow for the EU to enact liberal immigration policy, green rules, and various other progressive goals without any hindrance from Hungary and other smaller conservative nations. It's, quote, an important step toward greater integration and efficiency. No, it is a step toward tyranny over Europe. And for proof of it, let's see if I got this moron here. Yeah, Macron. He's talking about the European Union passing an international tax on shipping. Now, that's in response, I'm sure, to Trump saying when he gets in, if they're unfair, he's going to smack tariffs on them like they've never seen before. But here's what he comes up with in response to that from Trump.
Airline as to tax, I'm in favor of an international tax funding the efforts we need to undertake in fighting poverty and the climate. I recalled France applied on itself 2 previously proposed taxes on air. Agree with me that an international tax is international when it's adopted by all, and there are international taxes like socialism formally. It doesn't work in just one country. And so we're already at the technological front. We're not going to continue to beat ourselves alone. We're going to try and rally and get others to follow. So we're in favor of an international tax on shipping because it's a sector that's not taxed. There's no reason why it's not taxed and doesn't contribute to efforts throughout the world. So I think it's a very good cause. The goal here was to continue to rally people. We have a club of those who are like-minded, and it's to the IMO, International Maritime Organization, to negotiate. We'll have that. We defend a tax that can be very modest to begin with. It's a sector that is decarbonizing it. We're encouraging that, but it's justified. Revenues generated, sometimes considerable, should be taxed. But for it to work, we have to do what we did on the minimum international tax, to have a set of countries that follow suit. I'll be clear, China, the US, several European countries that also have large shipping companies involved don't follow us, well, you're putting a tax in place, but it has no effects because people are going to be taxed. Will head to countries that aren't taxed. So key countries must rally. Will continue in that direction. The July meeting at the IMO will be...
So blah, 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 he goes. All it is, they want more damn money, more damn money. A new global financial pact. And you heard him mention climate. You heard him mention airline tickets they want to tax. Freight and shipping companies, they feel like they can put this universal European tax on. And that is one of the things that Trump told them to take a hike about, was this Green New Deal garbage that Joe automatically put back in the picture. Speaking of Joe, here's a little video for you. Did y'all get to see this little short video about the White House?
Ring, 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 ring. Banana phone.
A bing bong, bing bong, bing bong, bing. Banana phone.
It's no malarkey.
Oh, Joe, you're such a phony.
My cellular, bananular phone.
Banana phone, he falls down the steps. But anyway, here's what we're dealing with. I just thought you might want to see. If you join the Navy, you got to salute this person. But anyway, they're coming up with, this is the second half of a video I got. They don't have Pride Month anymore. They want it to be all summer. Here, let me play this first video. This introduction by this person. The introduction. Summer of Pride, not a month. Not a month. It's all summer long.
My name is Admiral Rachel Levine, and I have the honor of being the Assistant Secretary for Health at the United States Department of Health and Human Services. Happy Pride. Happy Pride Month, and actually, let's declare it a summer of pride. Happy Summer of Pride.
Now, if y'all remember, this is the one who is in charge of everybody's health in Pennsylvania and then moved their mother out of a nursing home just before the lockdowns, and all the people in the nursing homes were put in a very bad position. Okay? So here's the video where we've got some indoctrination going on, and there's Mrs. Levin or Miss Levin on the right. And there's nothing wrong with them. There's no mental problems or anything. They're perfectly fine. And I don't know what age this person on the right started to be indoctrinated. But anyway, here we go.
It's such an important issue for our youth and adults. As you said, some of these laws are gender affirming care is health care, gender affirming care is mental health care, and gender affirming care is literally suicide prevention care. Would that be your view as well?
I 100% agree.
Yeah. It's mental health care. By gender affirming, they mean surgeries, they mean everything else we've talked about in the past. Here's something Donald Trump put up. 69-year-old grandma with cancer given more prison time for walking inside the U.S. Capitol than Hunter Biden for sharing classified documents with foreign regimes and multi-billion-dollar bribery schemes. That's from the Gateway Pundit, if anybody wants to look that one up. And I tell you, this is weird. I don't know what to think of this yet. This article, let me get that creep off the screen. There we go. This article here, this was yesterday, I believe. It might have been today. June 23rd. New Hampshire woman arrested by FBI in connection with Capitol attack. Bristol, New Hampshire. A woman from Bristol was arrested by the FBI on Friday. Court documents released Friday include black and white pictures of Cindy Young. I mean, how long has it been? Young is facing charges of disorderly and disruptive conduct in a restricted building or grounds and parading, demonstrating, or picketing in any of the Capitol buildings. Investigators said she was seen on surveillance camera entering the Senate wing of the Capitol and then outside the chamber's door with a crowd chanting, "Break it down." Officials said Young admitted to an investigator she wanted to get into the hearing room. So this late in the day, so to speak, they're going to New Hampshire to get this person, and there's no charges mentioned of violence or anything. It's disorderly and disruptive conduct and parading, demonstrating, picketing. So that is very odd. I don't know. I asked Sadie what she thought of the whole thing, and she had no comment. She doesn't know what to think. She's overwhelmed by it all. She doesn't know what to think. But I was thinking that it could be somebody that was an instigator and maybe somebody dressed up, from New Hampshire. Maybe they're coming in at this late date picking up people that were more instigators for the other side. Maybe it's just a thought, folks. As soon as Sadie comes up with an idea, I will let you know. But I don't think she'll come up with one. So anyway, folks, that I thought that was very weird. So we got one other one here I got to put up from Mr. T. Oh, I got a couple. Devin Nunes. Think about this one, folks. Shadow campaign in full motion. The groomed from birth leftist who expects to be president. Devin Nunes thinks that's a shadow campaign. And who do you think would be the VP on a Gavin Newsom ticket? Do you think it might be Mike Shell? Huh? That's what I think. And here's one that I thought was really interesting. Dan Bongino chimed in on this one. Wait a second. I was talking about, let me see if I got it in my studio first. Let's see what this one is. Oh, this is again, Devin Nunes. James Lindsay said they're going to mutilate a lot of kids before this stops. Here's the one I was telling you about earlier in the broadcast about Elizabeth Warren participating in this illegal psychological warfare campaign. Terrific news. Healthcare, including gender-affirming care, is a basic human right, and we fight for basic human rights. Well, one of the mouthpieces they have is the Associated Press. The Associated Press says, breaking, a federal judge struck down Arkansas's first-in-the-nation ban on gender-affirming care for children as unconstitutional. The first ruling for such a prohibition as a growing number of Republican-led states are adopting restrictions. So there's another judge we got to get rid of. We're putting them on a list and checking it twice, and they're going to be removed for incompetence at the very least. Now here, if you got any, people say you're making up stories when we talk about this being a religion, how harmful it is, how much it's spreading. People think you're making up stories. Unfortunately, we're not making things up. The battle is real. The devil is real. And I didn't get a link to this video, but if you can't see before your eyes how cunning and smart our enemies are, then I want to pray that you will soon be more open to the truth and see what's really going on at the moment. And then the quote we all know, for our struggle is not with flesh and blood, but with the principalities, with the powers, with the world rulers of this present darkness, with the evil spirits in the heavens. They're pushing a religion. And here's a picture. And I don't show them, but people are showing them all around, where you've got grown adults disrobing in front of little ones and performing disgusting acts. All that stuff is against the law. And we got to start enforcing existing law, as we all have been in concurrence with for a long time. We've all been in concurrence with that notion. So, somebody, the Kellyanne Conway's husband, put up some smart aleck thing about Dan Bongino. I don't think I put it in my studio because Dan Bongino said the F word, so I might have declined to put that in the studio. But that was making me think of Kellyanne Conway has got the patience of Job. Oh, here it is. Here it is. But now, from what I'm hearing from Dan Bongino, she finally divorced him. This little guy that looks like a hobbit, George Conway. Daniel Lippman, spotted. Media conservative personality and former Fox News host Dan Bongino getting forcibly removed from Cucina, Palm Beach, by several restaurant employees close to midnight on Friday. So I don't know what that's all about. But Bongino responded, I'm sorry you're a fat FU whose wife left him. Probably because if she was assaulted, you'd join in. Go feast on your Twinkies and ho-hos. Sounds like you've got other issues to deal with. But Kellyanne Conway is one person I was going to bring up when I was talking about the divorces with Marjorie Taylor Greene and the other one. How Kellyanne Conway went through hell with her husband and her daughter. And I thought, gee, she must really take her vow seriously because she hasn't gotten a divorce. But according to Bongino, she's either left him or maybe filing for divorce. I don't know. Yeah, Dottie, that's what it was. He was defending a woman. And this creature, this hobbit, this liberal hobbit says he was getting taken out because he was drunk or a troublemaker. So yeah, I'll listen to Bongino 10 times quicker than I will that creep. So anyway, folks, I've gone way over an hour. My goodness. Let me, if I could leave on a funny note, I think on a meme that we give us a little something to snicker at. Let me see if I got something in here. Okay, I already, oh, here we go. Russian mercenaries steal Putin's podium in a brazen coup attempt. Ha ha ha. So anyway, I will play, let's see, I'm going to play what I think is going to be the bottom line issue in Arizona, which I still contend is ground zero. Okay, folks? What is going to be, I think, sooner or later in front of the Supreme Court, exactly what this young lady here is talking about in response to this egghead liberal lawyer who's trying to put her in a trick box. I appreciate you all spending your precious time with me. I've got a link in the description for Buy Me a Coffee if anybody wants to help the channel out. I really appreciate it. I appreciate everybody who has contributed. Camperman's helped me. Tennessee's helped me. I see on the screen. Gary's helped me. All the others that's helped me in the past, I appreciate it. But I got a link in the description. And anyway, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when I go live next time if you want to be part of the live chats. So you all have a great night. I'll play this video for you. And this is Mountain Man, over and out.
So I'm going to ask you a legal question, but you only have to answer if you have an understanding about it. If you don't have an understanding, it's perfectly fine to say, I don't know. Are you aware that under Arizona law, a ballot is not actually unlawful if it is, the term that's used sometimes is harvested or ballot collection, but if somebody who is not authorized to handle it deposits it, or like what happened at Runback, if somebody brings it and inserts it into the stream, but not into a designated authorized drop box. Are you aware that under Arizona law that is not actually an unlawful ballot?
I think the term in the law is an invalid ballot.
Okay. Just 1 minute, Your Honor. Mm-hmm. No more questions. Thank you very much, Ms. Honey.